This last Sunday, we had our second installment of the series, Enter into Rest. And the topic is Sabbath Rest. It's about rhythm. It is about embracing holy time. And it's really fun for me to be talking about this. I feel very strongly about this biblical principle of engaging life in a rhythm that fits God's plan for me and not just the plan that this world has, walking and doing just what everyone else does. And I think one of the things that really jumps out at me is looking at Exodus chapter 1 through 5. We get to see the story of Moses, and we get to see the Israelites really enslaved for 12 generations, 430 years, and they are oppressed and they're just really struggling. And it says in the middle of that, they cried out. It didn't even say they cried out to God, but they cried out for a deliverer. It's like, we need help. We can't do this. And it says, and God remembered them. And he said, he heard them, he saw them, and he knew. And as a response, he sent Moses and Aaron. And he told Moses and Aaron with many signs, wonders, and miracles to go and to declare to Pharaoh, let my people go, that they can come and they can worship me in the wilderness. They can come follow me. They can walk with me. And Pharaoh's response is threefold. Number one, he says, I don't even know who this God is. Number two, he kicks Moses and Aaron out of his presence. And number three, he increases the Israelites' workloads by bringing their taskmasters and the foremen of the slaves in and saying, okay, I know these guys have been making bricks using mud and straw. We provide the straw. They're obviously not working hard enough. So let's take away their straw. But they can't reduce the number of the bricks that they're making every day. They have to keep up with that quota. So that instead of them having straw and the mud to make the bricks, they got to go look for the straw. And he says, I don't want them to be able to be considering anything that's being said to them. Matter of fact, we need to give them more work so they will not listen to these lying words. Did you hear that? The lying words that Pharaoh is so concerned that the Israelites are going to hear is that of God desiring that they would come away and come spend time with him in the desert and to celebrate and have feast, but mostly to rest. And he says that how we're going to deal with this is we're going to keep them busy. Does that sound familiar? Now, you may not recognize that the enemy of our soul is really a type of Pharaoh. He has come to steal, to kill, and to destroy. The enemy of our soul really wants us to be people who are so busy we can't consider, let alone dwell on, the invitation that God gives to us on a regular basis to come away into the quiet, to come away into rest, to recognize that we are so much more than what we can accomplish. We're not just humans who can do things. We are human beings. Part of us learning to embrace God's rhythm and to enter into rest is learning to stop and learning to say, no, I'm not going to keep going at this hectic pace. And I got to tell you, I was talking to a friend just the other day about what happens when you stop. And they said something to the effect of, I keep myself as busy as I can because I don't like to have to think about what's going on in my life. I don't want to have to contemplate doing something different. So the more busy I am, the less time I have to think. Friends, God invites us to a different way of life, a life that is not rooted in our production. It's not rooted in busyness. It's not rooted in being on this hamster wheel of death that goes nowhere and is attempting to accomplish something. God has invited us to embrace life and life in all of its fullness that comes with walking at his pace and not at a pace that is meant really to wear us out, to keep us from hearing him and to break us. It will require a different way of living, but we cannot change the way that we live until we shift the way that we think. In Romans chapter 12, it says that we can't be conformed to the world anymore, the pattern of how people do things, but instead we are to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. And so this invitation towards rest really doesn't start with, okay, just stop doing what you're doing and do stuff different. It starts with making our minds new through God's word, through spending time with him, through time with people who know and love and care for you, and having some really hard thinking times and hard contemplation times and even some hard conversations, wrestling through. So we're not going to keep doing what we have done and just keep repeating that and try and stop by our willpower, but really see our life change and transform. We can enter into the joy of the rest that comes from God. I hope there's something in here that has been encouraging to you. Please know this is not said or done with a heavy hand at all. It's really just an invitation to a life that is more than just trying to do. God bless you. Have a great one.